Welcome back to the REAct Closures podcast. Catching up on the latest deal breakdowns. We got some crazy ones. Again, I feel like it's always the pre-foreclosures. Funny enough, I think both of these came from door knocking. Massive profits on 2 wholesale deals, some of the bigger ones of the year, and did not come easy. Both of these were, talk about fighting it through till the end. And it makes me even wonder on both of these, like the average wholesaler investor just not taking this deal across the finish line because of the amount of steps and process that it took. I think, in a perfect world, we're like, oh, these close in 3 weeks, right? Or even less. But the reality of it is sometimes title work, foreclosures, getting the seller moved out, liens, title, like whatever it is, can extend the deal. And I think that's the biggest thing for people to realize is sometimes just it's not going to be seamless. You're going to have to go another, arm and a leg to get it across the finish line. And this first one was a $60,000 wholesale deal, and the other one I think was 45, 50. What was the?
No, it was let's see, 27.5.
27.5 on the other one.
Yep.
From Bridgeport. Okay.
First one came from texting.
Which one?
We got in touch with the father who gave us the son's number. So it was texting.
Oh, gotcha. We just ended up meeting there in person, I think.
Yeah, to help him move and stuff.
Gotcha. So I thought it was door knocking. It came from texting, and the other one is from door knocking.
And follow up.
And a lot of follow up. This was like, so let's break this one down first, because this guy basically, we got in touch from Houston. He had been talking to him for a while. You went over there with him, like 6 months ago?
Yeah, so he was on the October 2024 foreclosure list. Houston, one of our buddies that we've done a lot of deals with, he and I went over there in October. The guy, he was a little bit tough to communicate. He just had his strokes. His speaking wasn't all perfect. And so we were talking to his adult daughters there at the house. We almost got him under contract in October. They ended up doing a loan mod. They were in foreclosure. I kept up with the daughters up until like very recently. The homeowner, the older gentleman, texted Houston in like June saying, hey, I think I need to sell. Loan mod did not work out. Whatever. It was about to go back in foreclosure. They were getting sued by the HOA to start a foreclosure process, like everything. And so we got under contract mid-June, and then had an original closing date for like early July, and then extended that to late July, and ended up getting it closed in early August.
Wow. And so the first time we made contact with this guy was in October?
Yep, last year.
And it was upcoming auction, so it's probably like 30, 60 days away from there. He delays it by getting a loan modification.
And then immediately just didn't work.
Wasn't able to make the payments, or it didn't work.
So they put a lien on the back of the loan.
Yeah, so that added basically more to the back of his loan, meaning he doesn't have as much equity now. But it's a pretty good area. It's in, Denton County and Little Elm, Texas. And I think I remember when it popped back open and Houston was like, hey, what is this worth again?
Yeah, he called me. He's like, what should I offer this guy? I think he was there or something. He's like, oh, I'll offer 230. And I was like, no, I'll offer 200. Like, it needs a lot of work.
It was in pretty rough shape. I think it was kind of interesting area in the values, like the after repair value, 400, but then
420-ish.
We thought it was like 420 to 450, and then we started seeing the comps because obviously the market was shifting.
Yeah, and a good market, 420, 450.
Yeah, but more realistically now, like maybe even 380.
Yeah.
We get under contract at 200, and I think from there it was just like a battle. Like we had
I can go into it.
The daughters. You're the one that was working directly.
Yeah, so I went over there we were gonna just have some contractors, partners walk through, and I couldn't even get inside the house. The guy like literally was in my grill. He was obviously under a lot of stress, anxiety, whatever, just like trying to like almost fight me in his front yard. So I had to like reclose him, the seller. I had to like reclose him, and finally I was like, this is on a Saturday morning. I'm like, all right, we'll just come back and do this later. And so kind of like got him to calm back down. His daughter ends up calling me like 15 minutes later and is like, hey, like we're good. Like we're still going to sell. I tried to go inside the house and kind of reclose them too, because that's really who we were closing, were the daughters.
So he was just trying to figure out something else?
Yeah, he's just stressed out. There's a lot going on. He's lived there forever. Like I understand. So kind of got it reclosed in the front yard, and then with the daughters again, we ended up doing, getting people in there a couple weeks later. Got offers to wholesale it for a lot lower than we originally thought. I think a lot of it was just the market, and a lot more in repairs than we, anticipated. There's so much stuff in there, it's kind of hard to tell. Kind of remarketed, ended up getting a buyer at 260.
Which is funny though, because I think a big learning point here was like we marketed it thinking, like I think we asked like 270, thinking, oh, that's
285 was the original asking.
A great area, like didn't seem like it needed that much in repairs, but there's so much stuff there that you couldn't really tell. And most of our offers were coming at like 215, 220?
230.
Yeah, we ended up having 230. We almost went under contract with a 230 offer. And we always tell our guys, like, at least get 3 offers, like, marketed out. And the sellers weren't, it was just taking a while. We knew we had to get them relocated. We can get into that. But it wasn't closing, like, anytime super soon because we had to figure out their title issues and then get them moved. And I think right as after that 230 offer came in, was it a couple days after we
ended up kind of like bumping the price down and remarketing it.
Okay, so we gave it another wind, and then ended up getting the buyer in at 260.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's crazy. You basically doubled it just by one more round of marketing, finding the right buyer, and it's like you never know. One person that wants to flip it might say, "Hey, I need to buy it at 230," and the next guy just wants to put some minor repairs into it and hold it as a rental, and it might make sense for him. So it's like not every buyer. I think that's the huge part of Dispo that you realize too is we've taken big L's sometimes where we're like, let's jump on it, let's accept this offer, and then literally sometimes 5 hours later, offer comes in for 15, 20, 30 grand more, and you're like,
and that's why it's always funny when other Dispo teams are like, I've sold this deal in 12 minutes. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
That's good. It's good. That's what you're supposed to do, seal the deal, but give it some time. Try to hear some offers out.
Right, yeah. And it definitely depends on the situation. This one, we kind of had to have some time because, there was a foreclosure coming up, but I don't think he'd been given an auction date again.
He hadn't, but it was close. It was going to be on like the next one.
He was about to get the auction date. He just reached back out, but we knew we had a little bit of time. We had to get him relocated, so we might as well go market it out, find the best buyer. And then at this point, we signed that at 260, but now the deal's not closed, right? We still got to get.
Yeah, so we had a lot of stuff from there. So there was him, 3 adult daughters, and a grandkid living in the house. They lived there for a long time. And so there's now a HUD lien, which is from the loan modification. So if you accept a loan mod, you don't pay it. It adds a lien to the back of the house, the back of the loan, which we call a HUD lien. So
if someone that doesn't know a loan modification, it basically just means you're behind on your payments. Instead of catching up the payments or selling, right, they're just modifying the loan. They put the back payments on the back of the loan and restructure a payment.
Restructure the payment, the interest rate. So there's a $25,000 HUD lien now. The kicker was solar. He got solar put on. We don't even know. So it was through like sunlight or something like that. So we can't find, we know there's a UCC lien for the solar panels, which is just a lien for the equipment that has to get paid off at closing. And so,
to a lot of the solar people listening, they're going to say no because I sold solar, but it's confusing because it still pops up a title. Technically, you can buy it and take over the payments on the solar, right?
But if you're doing a cash deal.
Yeah, owner to owner, that can make sense if the house is in good shape and they were selling that to a family. To an investor like us or a person that's going to flip it, they don't want to take over another payment and then deal with that on resale, so they're just going to pay it off. And that's just because this house needed so much work. It's going to an investor.
So he had solar on it that hadn't been turned on like maybe ever. And I get his information. We're calling the solar company together. They have no record of his name, address, two account numbers on there, social security, anything. And so I think I ended up with like 14 or 15 different phone numbers of like being referred between different like servicing companies for that loan, different solar companies. I was on the phone for probably close to 7 or 8 hours total trying to get this payoff. I finally got it. It was like the 4th or 5th bank that I called, and they sent us the payoff like 2 hours later. After calling 14 or 15 different numbers after like a week and a half, 2 weeks of trying to find this.
Yeah, which is crazy because loans sell, servicing companies handle payments. That happened on that one foreclosure deal where I literally, this is a whole nother story, but I kind of want to bring it up because if it weren't for me just problem solving, I never would have got a hold of it. Same thing with you. It's like, okay, you talk to this person, they say they don't have it, we're going to go to the next thing and the next thing, and they direct you just one after another until you finally get the payoff. And we can't close if we don't have the payoff for it. The same thing with that one in foreclosure in Colorado where this guy had some lien that we thought was in the house, but he never signed, and they kept saying it was with some servicing company. They would not tell me. They said it's a 30 to 60 day process. We can't give you any supervisor's number. And I'm like, this has to close in a week. This guy's going to get foreclosed on. Give me a number. And they're like, no, we can't do it.
It's called the lawyer directly, right?
I know they said it's this person is the one that handles it, but we won't tell you who can't direct you to him. And I literally went on truepeoplesearch.com, found his name, and skip traced it and called the dude's cell that was a hold of that apartment, and he gave it to me in an hour. Literally just acted like he was supposed to give it to me.
That was a 3-hour phone call as we drove from Dallas to Norman for the U game.
Yeah. Which is crazy because there's no way anyone else would think, or maybe they would think, right? But like to get the person that runs that department, skip trace their actual cell phone, not their office line. On True People Search. Yeah, on True People Search, and then call them and get a hold of it. It's like sometimes you just have to go to extreme lengths to get the things you need, and it's like you just kind of got to be stubborn and figure it out, or else it might sit there and you're going to say, oh, this deal didn't close because title work. Like, he's got a solar lien, and it's like the next person's going to figure it out and someone's going to buy this house.
So we got the solar payoff. Then there was a MOC, which is a memorandum of contract, which we file on a lot of properties. So you get a house under contract. It basically protects Cloud's title if the seller decides, hey, I'm going to ghost us and sell to somebody else. So they had signed a contract with someone in like November, right before the auction date. It didn't work out, but they had an MOC on it. So then I negotiated that MOC release. I actually had dealt with this person before. We released an MOC for them. So we negotiated that MOC release with them, got that payoff. Finally got the mortgage payoff, solar payoff, the MOC, the HUD lien. So I think we had everything at this point. And so the next thing was was the investor that we sold the deal or selling the deal to, there's a lot of stuff in there. I mean, like 17 years worth of stuff, 3 kids. And so he wants it empty. And so we're trying to close as quickly as possible. There's probably an upcoming foreclosure date. They're about to get sued by the HOA, all this stuff. So we're like, take matters in our own hands. They don't have a rental property yet, about to have one locked up, but like we need them out of the house. So I get them an Airbnb. I don't want to put it on my credit card, which they're still in the Airbnb, so we'll see what happens. But don't want to put it on my credit card. So I send them $6,000 on Zelle to try and get it booked so they can put it on their card. So if anything happens to the Airbnb, it's on their card.
Yeah,
they had
their account.
Yeah, in their account. So they had like nothing, like they had no money. And so it was weird that they got $6,000 and tried to spend it. So like Bank of America blocked it. So then I had to, this is like a 4 or 5 hour Google Meet that this whole thing's been going on. We're trying to figure out, we're calling Bank of America, calling Airbnb, all this stuff. And I finally just say, screw it. Like I'll just pay for it. $6,000 down on this Airbnb while they still have my $6,000. And I liked them. Like they're super good people, like worked well with us. I knew they weren't going to take it from me, but I'm like, man, that's $12,000 just right there. So I eventually got the $6,000 back, got them booked an Airbnb across town, super nice house. Those people had to be psyched because I don't know why you'd have an Airbnb where they have one, but it's besides the point. And then we're trying to get moving scheduled with the guys that we always have help us move. Shout out Christian. We show up there, 2 days before closing. So we're on Wednesday or Thursday. It closes on Friday. Me and Armando go out there and we're de-junking the house. We go through a 20 cubic yard dumpster is what we originally ordered. We fill that up with just half the garage junk. There's dead rats in there, all sorts of crazy stuff. Then we have another junk guy show up, another 20 cubic yard dumpster. So we're at 40 yards now. House still has a lot of stuff. We have to order another one the next morning. And we had a lawn mowing crew that we knew close by that threw out the rest of the stuff. So we had 60 cubic yards, feet, whatever, of trash. Took us the whole day to get rid of this. It's 100 degrees outside. Not only were we de-junking, throwing away trash, we helped them put in 2 loads of like a moving truck back and forth. So we're doing all this, just me and Armando and Christian and his buddy, Guadalupe.
Yeah, fiberglass.
I'm breathing in fiberglass, sneezing like crazy. There's dirt everywhere. There's hollowed out mice that have been trapped underneath there for years. There's mice running. It's horrible. It smells awful. There's rat poop on the floor. So we get all this done.
Did Armando take it to
we can't do a mobile notary. Like it has to close because the payoff was expired on that Friday. And we couldn't order a new one. Like they wouldn't let us do it really.
So pause really quick to people that don't understand. So we did going through all the lengths to try and get them out of the house. Yeah. You paid them $12,000, well 12 on accident. You really ended up paying 6 for the Airbnb. You got the other 6 back from them. But the whole point was we needed them out of the house to close and they couldn't get the money until it closed. So
or
we had
get
to front,
out,
or get out. So we had to front the money before. The other question to a lot of people that are investors is like, how did this deal still work with all these payoffs? They lived there for a while, so they're still making money on this house. They just had a solar payoff.
For like
HOA payoff. Yeah, all that. So we finally get all these payoffs so we can close. You get them all this stuff moved and de-junked this house, but now they got to drive to the title company because they have to go close.
Yeah, they can't do a mobile notary because if you do a mobile notary, title company doesn't get docs till the next day because they overnight it.
Which means someone meets them at the house to close. Yeah. They had to actually go to the title company so that we could close that day. Yeah. And they don't have a car or what?
Yeah, so over the course of us getting it under contract with Houston and closing, they crashed both their cars. So they don't have a car. And so I was like, okay, telling the daughter, I'm like, hey, can you get a ride? And I finally was just like, you know what, I'm just going to drive all the way up here, which is like, it's a long drive. It's like 50 minutes. Yeah. We drive up there Friday morning after we'd been there all day yesterday. So we were there, got there like 11, got home at like 10 the day before. We drive out there, pick them up, drive them all the way back down to Dallas, like a mile from our place at the title company, get them to sign. Just like I kind of knew it was going to happen. Like we let them sign. We're kind of sitting off to the side, like out of the office. And, they sign whatever. And I get them an Uber back to their house. The signing was interesting, I guess, for the title company. They were kind of, didn't realize that they had all these liens, which, we told them 100 times you have a solar lien and loan mod, whatever, but all good. They get paid. They make a bunch of money off of it, get all their debts cleared. They're in a nice Airbnb. They're getting set up with a new rental. So ended up all working. But I mean, all in all, we spent $7,800 before we even closed the deal and never had the deed of the house, which is like, I probably wouldn't recommend doing that. Ideal, honestly, like not the smartest, but I also trusted the people, the sellers that we were working with. Like I had a great relationship with the daughters.
There's a couple of things I think that people don't think, when is this okay to do it? Because that same thing happened with other deals breaking down. We had to pay like $7,000 just for that guy to live before it closed. Not always, never good to spend money before you close, right? You don't own the house.
Spend a lot of money.
Right. But for us, both of those deals were huge. One was a $60,000 deal, right? So like, when would you spend money versus when you wouldn't? In my opinion, title is clear. We know we have a buyer assigned. There's not something holding this up that could keep it from closing, right? Like we didn't need another error, or we didn't need like a payoff order, right? We knew title was clear. So really, as long as they showed up and the buyer showed up, and the deal was going to close.
Yeah, and we had a good relationship with the seller. I'd say also, and it might sound a little bit weird, but like they didn't really have another option. Like we had gotten them to this point. They knew that we had gotten them to this point, and we had gone an extra 25 miles to even get it to this point. It's like we're paying off all their debts. Like they're debt free now. Like they don't have to worry about it. So it's like we kind of know that like if they don't sign, like they don't have anything else.
Yeah. But I think to the other person listening, when they hear like, oh, spend money before, I would always make sure, because you will lose money. Let's say you spent that money week one. We didn't have a solar payoff. We didn't know what the HOA was. We didn't know if title's clear. That money could have been $7,000 right out the door, right? But we did it at the very finish line when we knew everything was clear. It was about to close. Again, still a risk, but it was worth it. You helped them out, and we got it out and made it easier for them. But yeah, crazy. To the lengths that you have to go through sometimes to get a deal across. I mean, who would have like done all that, right? It's like calling the solar company a million times, paying for their Airbnb, helping them get another rental, driving them back and forth, getting them an Uber,
doing the manual labor,
showing up for the manual labor. You came
breathing
back
in
with
fiberglass.
He literally was washing his hat and his clothes in our washer, and then we had to wash our washer because it had fiberglass all in it from the broken garage that was like shattered.
That was the one thing. We had to rip the garage door off too because they crashed their car into the garage door. That was one of the car crashes.
Crazy. I don't even know if I have time to break down this other deal, but this is the kind of things that problem solving. This is not every deal, obviously, but nothing is ever like a streamlined process, right? That first deal we talked about last podcast episode was one of the most clean deals getting under contract, right? On the back end, on the flip, a little bit of a headache on buyers falling through and whatever. But yeah, a lot of times you're dealing with distressed properties off market, and you're like, hey, why does someone sell at a discount, or why would someone do this or that? Like at the end of the day, they wouldn't have been able to sell their house if it wasn't for us helping them out, right? So it's like taking things to a length to make sure people are covered, to make sure they're getting into another place, that they're going to stop a foreclosure, get out of this debt, is a huge win for everyone. So you should be paid accordingly. But it's, again, you got to help people, and you got to go through a lot of crazy stuff that most people aren't willing to do. And at the end of the day, it's worth it. So, and helps them out. So that's pretty crazy. I appreciate you doing that too, because I didn't even realize all the lengths that it goes to sometimes. I'm working on other deals that I'm like on the phone, sitting in an apartment in the AC, and you're over there in 10 hours in a 100-degree garage getting glass shattered everywhere on you. So
shout out Armando for helping. Christian and then Guadalupe for helping with the move. And some junk removal.
And Houston for getting the deal.
For keeping up with the actual seller, not the daughters. I was keeping up with the wrong people, apparently.
But that is the latest deal breakdown. I know we mentioned the other one. We can dive into this as we get into the next episodes. If you guys want to see, again, other deal breakdowns, tips, things in our YouTube, check out our YouTube channel, REI Closers. Follow me on Instagram at benjensen.rei. We put that in the description below, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.